Welcome back to Direct. I'm Jennifer Burke. Some of Canada's most fashionable people have descended in Toronto to celebrate the 27th season of World Mastercard Fashion Week. The event, which ends today, features spring-summer collections from emerging talents and established designers. Here to talk to us about the event is Randy Bergman, online editor at fashionmagazine.com. Randy, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You've had a chance to check out some of the shows. What were some of the highlights from this year?
Well, the highlight, as usual, it's not a surprise. Joe Fresh is probably the favorite in the fashion industry. It's a really great show, and this year was also Pink Tartan was an awesome show, and there are also some really great up-and-coming designers as well.
Okay, when you say they're an awesome show, what makes it an awesome show? Is it the clothes? Is it the music? Is it the presentation? And are these clothes that normal people can actually wear?
Well, in the case of Joe Fresh, I think it's sort of everything you just said. It's a great show. It's a huge spectacle. And of course, as everybody knows in Canada, Joe Fresh is extremely accessible, and it's made for the everyday woman and man.
What are some of the trends that we will be seeing? I think people always find it interesting that we're barely into fall, close to winter, but we're already thinking about what we're going to be wearing in the spring. What were some of the trends you saw that we have to look forward to?
Some of the big trends in Toronto Fashion Week, they sort of continue along in the line of the International Fashion Weeks. A big one this year is 60s inspired, and that runs the gamut from everything from sort of, crazy op art prints and the very, traditional 60s things that you think of, but it's also been translated in a very feminine and romantic and sort of flirty way.
How about color? Are we seeing color for spring?
Yes, spring is the best time for color, in my opinion. This spring we're seeing a lot of pastels as usual, but they've sort of been given a little bit more of a poppy treatment. It's sort of pastels, but there's been a lot of sort of slightly brighter pinks, as you're seeing on the monitor right now. Some nice mints, and then as well there's been a lot of metallics and a lot of interesting treatments on gold, silver, white with gold and silver. It's a nice new trend.
Yeah. What was your favorite moment so far of some of the shows?
I love seeing the up-and-comers. There's been a lot of great up-and-comers this year. Last week there was actually sort of two we call them quote-unquote rogue fashion week organizations last week, and one of the great ones that I always love to see is Chloe Comparis. They're a sister duo out of Toronto. They showed in New York this time for the first time, and they're just I think they're so great. They're so arty. They're so talented, and they always hit the mark right on the head.
How important is a show like this, a week like this, for up-and-coming designers?
I think it's a huge landmark in your career, especially in Canada. It's sort of, it's not as big as the huge fashion centers, and it's a very nurturing industry. So I would say for the up-and-coming designers, it's sort of a nice, it's almost always very positive, and it's very important to get your stuff out to different eyes. And it's almost like, whether it's a stepping stone or whether it's your final destination, it's obviously just a good thing.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the Joe Fresh fashion show right now, and obviously this is a popular line, an affordable line for many people, but is that the same for some of the other lines, or are these fashion shows limited to just the so-called fashionistas and the people who can afford haute couture?
I think, I think Joe Fresh, again, is a really good example of that. It's affordable price points, but at the same time, I would say that a lot of the Canadian lines are affordable, a little bit more expensive than your average, Zara, H&M, but not completely out of the range.
And what Canadian designers do you think are the ones to watch over the next little while?
Like I said, Chloe Comparis is my definite favorite. Other great ones would be Lucien Matisse, Sid Nagum, and Jeremy Lang, of course, but I wouldn't even call him an up-and-comer anymore. He's sort of already there.
Randy, thanks for your expertise. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Randy Bergman is online editor at fashionmagazine.com.